My Xteink X3 is broken. It stopped charging. As you can see, if I plug it in, the light doesn't come on. And I did various tests and saw that indeed it just stopped charging, unfortunately. Now, it still has some charge. You can see that it comes on, but unfortunately, eventually, it is just going to stop working. Now, you might see that it is behaving a little weirdly. This is because when this happened, I decided to open it up. Now, I have no technical expertise on these kinds of circuits and devices, but I thought that maybe it'd be something very obvious that would be wrong that I could identify, or some kind of component that I could replace. Now, when I did that, what I saw is that, as a matter of fact, things are more complicated than I had predicted. Now, for some people, this will be obvious, but I was cautiously optimistic about opening it up. This is indeed what I see. Now, the main kind of obstacle that I came upon was that I'm not actually sure how the charger or the charging pins actually charge the battery, because there doesn't seem to be a connection, and I'm not entirely sure if it's just like by proximity or something like that, or you see that this is the battery, these are the charging pins, obviously, and the only connection from the battery to the rest of the device is via this little cable. Now, I don't know if it's a cable, but this little black component. Now, I unplugged it, and basically there is no battery provided to the device, and the device doesn't work. I don't know if this is a bidirectional component where it both provides battery to the device and charges the battery. I wouldn't think that would be the case, because I feel like that's not how things work. So my only leftover explanation is that this charges by proximity, because even these components that come from near the charging pins don't seem to have an impact on the battery specifically when I unplug them. So basically, I opened it up, saw that it's very complicated, and I couldn't quite figure it out, and it was indeed broken. Now, the annoying thing was that when I first got it, from the very first time that I put it on charge, the charging wasn't fully functional. The first time that I plugged it in, the light didn't come on straight away, and I had to unplug it and plug it back in when I noticed that the light didn't come on for it to work. Now, this should have been a warning sign, but it wasn't. Now, the thing with these devices is that they are very cheap. They are mass produced by a company that grew very, very fast. And they have a very short warranty. So obviously, they're not going to be the best devices. They're not going to have the best quality control. So there are going to be some issues in some of the devices. And so my mistake was that I was very excited about having it. And so I just ignored the issue with the charging and just proceeded to just use it and kind of just look over it. And I think that was my mistake. And that's my conclusion from this whole thing, is that you should absolutely make sure that your device is working in all ways that it should. And if there is any kind of indication that it doesn't work in any way, for example, in my case, that the charging was behaving weirdly, it's better to immediately send it back and say, this isn't working, they can figure it out, and you can see afterwards if it's working or not. And it's better to do that than do what I did, and then a couple of months later it kind of stops working altogether. So this was what I wanted to say with this video. Firstly, I wanted to show you the inside of it. I know there's some footage on Reddit of the different components, but I've got this one now, which doesn't work. I've already opened it. I opened it in a very unprofessional way. I basically hovered it above the toaster to kind of like heat up the glue, and then with a knife just went under it and lifted it, which I would not recommend doing that as a way of fixing it. I kind of realized that it probably wasn't working, and I had to open it up to see what was happening. And I'm impatient. I didn't want to wait until I had all the right components, and so I just opened it up that way. Probably would not recommend it, but now I've got an open e-reader, so if anyone wants me to check anything about the components or anything, just let me know in the comments. I can do that, I don't mind. But my main takeaway from this is whenever you do get your e-reader, just check that everything works. If it doesn't, complain straight away, because you've only got 7 days to report this back to Xteink. So I've now got a non-working Xteink e-reader. The reason why the buttons were behaving weirdly, you could see that the menus were constantly skipping when I turned it on, is that I tried to remove this panel to try and see if there was any kind of like connection from the charger to anything else. And I think when I did that, I kind of damaged the connection to the buttons a little bit, and so now it's constantly skipping. But because the device doesn't charge anyway, it's not really a big loss. And so there you have it. There's my damaged Xteink X3. Now, because I am a sucker for these devices, I went and got a new one. And this one, the charging at least seems to be working. And I've tried to check that everything works properly. It seems that it does. And so I gave some extra money to to the Xteink company, and I'm going to be using this new one from now on. It is mildly annoying, but at the end of the day, it was my fault for being a little bit reckless and not sending it back when I had the chance to. And so, because I kind of grew used to having this little device, I just got a new one. Now, I want to say that I don't want my example to be a reason for people to freak out. I see a lot on the Reddit, for example, that whenever someone reports that their device arrived damaged or didn't arrive at all, or that the company didn't respond properly when it was damaged or something like that, people freak out and they're always like, oh, is this going to happen to everyone? Is that the case, that all devices are damaged? I don't think this is the case. I haven't seen anyone else who had the same issue with the charging. The matter of the fact is that this is a company that grew very fast. Their quality controls probably not perfect, not very good. Also, because of the price point, you wouldn't expect a very good quality control. This is kind of what you're paying for. And so for that reason, these things are bound to happen. And so no need to freak out. Just check whenever your devices arrive that everything's working. If anything is not working in the slightest, send it back. But don't be concerned about it. I haven't heard it happen to anyone else, so please don't panic. Also, on the matter of the case that you can see here that I got, as I'm using it, I'm finding some flaws with it. So the side here, you can see on this side, the side here started coming off a little bit. And so I kind of like put super glue on top to stop it from coming apart. I don't mind it too much. Some people will mind having this kind of different texture there. It's not really an issue for me. But if I hadn't put it on, it would come apart. And the case is a little bit loose. I've had to put a piece of paper in between the device and the back cover to stop it from sliding. And as you can see, it's got some stains and stuff. So on the case specifically, it's not incredibly high quality. It's not very high quality at all, but it's usable. It protects the device well. That's kind of like all I have to say. So I would say that if you can grab it for less than say 10, 15 euros, it is worth it. For more than that, I wouldn't say so, because it immediately started kind of like coming apart a little bit. I haven't got a lot of experience with 3D printed stuff. I don't know if this is a common issue. I imagine that it might be when you're putting components together in this way. But yeah, regardless, it is relatively good at what it does. Probably not worth more than 10, 15 euros. Yeah, so that's everything I had to say to you today. Now, given that I've got a new Xteink X3, you might ask, what am I doing with the old one? Well, given that I've opened it, I'm open if anyone if anyone wants me to check anything in the circuits or kind of send them closer footage, anything like that, I can do that. Also, I am just planning it to keep it for parts. I know that in quite a few people get damaged screens, and this screen is not damaged. So if anything happens to this one that involves the screen or any other component other than the charging, which hopefully will not be an issue on this one, then I can just try and replace it with components from this one. And so hopefully with my extra investment on this one, then I have some extra parts for if anything stops working, basically. And that's my plan with these two. But I am glad to have ordered a new one and to keep being part of the Xteink fan club. And that's it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.